And we are back. We are live. It has been a while. I apologize for the delayed start to the broadcast. I apologize for the extended downtime, but we are here. We are back with some beautiful StarCraft with the Grand Platypus Open number 90. Of course, our bi-weekly tournament for the ESL Masters Asia region. That is Oceania, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China. And boy, oh boy, do I have a matchup for you, because spawning in the top left-hand corner. As I quickly just set this up, there we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the Chinese Terran player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Oriana. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponents. We have the other Chinese player, the Chinese Zerg player, also representing Mystery Gaming. It is Mokou. Mokou. Damn. Mokou, that's it. God, it's gonna take a while to get used to that. And I am excited. Oh, one, shout out to all the weebs out there. We actually do have a bit of a snippet of a manga. Do I know what it says? God, no. But a shout out nonetheless, as we have a hatch gasable opener. So this is a player previously known as Soy, previously known as Takanashi, and you should be familiar with that because we have casted Takanashi many times in the past in the qualifiers for DreamHack, for the DreamHack China region, as well as some of these other online events. Meanwhile, oh my god, we are so paranoid. Takanashi, or Mokou, even going for a bit of a drone scout here, a little bit paranoid about a proxy racks. And to be fair, we have seen Oriana proxy racks in the past against Go Joey a couple of weeks ago, if you recall. So very understandable. These are teammates. They are very familiar with each other. And yeah, so you may be familiar with Takanashi. I mean, myself and Yaku have casted a lot of Takanashi, but they have name change, and this is something that we brought up a couple of months ago. Oriana used to be called Blooming, name changed to Oriana. Mokou used to be known as Takanashi, and name changed as well. And what is the reason for this? The reason for this is Oliveira. Hashtag blame Oliveira. Because Oliveira is, of course, the reigning world champion, and because they name changed from time to Oliveira relatively recently, before the championship run, of course, a lot of the Chinese players in solidarity have name changed and have committed to that as well. A lot of them have kind of, you know, gone for some facelifts and have changed their IDs and are going by some other names, you know, again, to kind of rejoice together in their world champion, of course. You know, Oliveira has done a lot for himself, has done a lot for the scene, and it's really cool to see them all come together behind him as well. So you love to see it, and yeah, that's why we have Oriana, that's why we have Mokou as well. God, it's so weird. Mokou? There we go. Mokou. Okay. I gotta get used to it. I really like Takanashi though. It's a little bit sad. Like I loved it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Speaking of what's beautiful and amazing, shout out to the Grand Platypus Open, and of course the American version up here, upside down, shaking my head. But yeah, we are finally here. I do apologize for the delayed start. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. We did have a lot of walkovers, unfortunately. We did have a lot of delays, and as a result, we had a delayed start as well. I think the big name that was missing, the unfortunate name that was missing, is that Silky did sign up to play today, and I was very excited. Silky is the best Zerg player in all of China, and also checked in, but was not available for the event itself. Could not be found, and unfortunately they were walkovered as well. So a bit of a feels bad, man. Would have been amazing to have seen a Silky compete against the best of the best here in some of these other regions, but alas, that is not what we're going to be seeing. So again, a little bit of a feels bad, man. But we still do get to experience some of these other games instead, which is honestly pretty exciting overall. We do see a 3cc opener here from Oriana, so very macro oriented here. Meanwhile, Mokou. Okay. Mokou? I'll stick with Mokou. That's I can get behind some Mokou. As we do see The Liberator going to be rotating around and going to be threatening this base. As the Liberator keeps these queens tied up, we have Hellions looking to threaten that natural base with no queens already in position as well. So far we have been able to keep up with the aggression of Oriana. Nothing too crazy. We're just working towards our lair. We're droning up as well. Hellions look to dive in towards the third base, but no, the queens do converge and they do chase Oriana away. So again, we have been able to keep up with all the rotations, and we are getting into a pretty solid macro game. We have a Baneling Nest behind the mineral line. Interesting location for the Baneling Nest, I'll be honest, especially because that means that we don't have a wall here at the natural. We aren't working on a wall, and Oriana may be looking to take advantage of that. But yeah, really interesting position. It isn't like we're like hiding tech or anything like that. That shouldn't really be what we should be taking away from this. It is at a pretty regular time. A little bit late, actually. Ideally, you have the Baneling Nest lined up with the lair, so you can start Baneling speed straight away. So it is slightly delayed overall, but it's all good. Behind this, we have our double Eva chambers for 1-1. We've got our fourth base on the way. We are droning. Again, everything's looking quite normal from our Zurich player. And I'm pretty excited because I haven't casted Takanashi or Mokou in quite some time. It's been a while. Basically, the last time I think I was able to cast Takanashi was, I want to say, the WTL qualifiers for Mystery Gaming. Potentially the WTL qualifiers, or maybe ESL Master Asia qualifiers. So it's been a couple of months. A good couple of months, so I'm happy to see them once again, as we do see Oriana pushing onto creep, cleaning up quite a lot of this, by the way. The Hellions looking to dive on top of the queens, but the Ling Bane is lying in wait. We can't really commit, we can't really dive in without being punished for it. The queens do stand strong. A couple of tumors do go down, but they can be replaced. I mean, thankfully, energy is in a way wasted by all these transfuses, but we have enough left over to throw down those tumors and to keep that creep thread going. Oriana looking to reinforce, loading up a couple more of these drops as well. Additional gases are being taken. We're not going for an 8 racks all in by any means. We have 5 racks for the time being, and I'm sure we're going to be looking to throw down a couple more. There we go, and Armory on the way to eventually get into 1-1 as well, so nothing too crazy. We do see one queen is going to be going down, so Oriana actually finding some damage. Not enough energy for transfuse, not anymore, so Oriana is gaining some ground, as again, Baneling speed was heavily delayed. Oof, it was actually forgotten a little bit as well. Without Baneling speed, we can see that Mokou is having a hard time keeping up overall. We see another drop here into the main base. Baneling's struggling to keep up. A lot of Lings have been going down left and right. I'm getting some flashbacks to my ladder session last night. We have Baneling speed on the way as we're getting the Hive. Like, that's how delayed it is. But hey, you know, the Hive is on points. Let me say that at least. And that means that Adrenal Gland should be on the way shortly as well. We got a second macro hatch. So far, it does feel like the droning here of Mokou has been quite solid. We're still not quite there yet, though. You know, ideally we want to be in that, let's say, 80 to 85 worker count, especially if we're going Ling Bane, because we want to be trading. We want to have a lot of larva, we want to have a lot of economy as well to kind of sustain this. Meanwhile, here we go. Widowmine shot. How good is it going to be? It's not going to go off. The mines get cleaned up as we do battle over the back of that lovely platypus. More creep being respread here towards the south. Thankfully, Mokou has not neglected this, but Oriana is here to keep this back. He will not allow creep to respread here. The queens! No! Oh, we are slow to react, and only 2 queens survive the massacre. The Marine stim on forward. Oh my god, I spoke too soon because every queen goes down. Ooh, a pretty juicy Baneling connection there, but the Widowmine shots are also looking good as well. Oriana feels like has been coming out on top in these trades. Back at home, we got our 4th base on the way. More reinforcements. We're trying to go for a bit of a Ling counterattack, but no, we have plenty at home to defend. We should have plenty at home to defend. As the Banelings are actually going to get into the mineral line. 7 SCVs go down. Not too, more than I thought would go down, to be honest. We got another double drop here, and all these Lings are not enough. Once again, Mokou just maybe miscalculating the drop here and not really respecting it. As here we go, we do see a lot of Lings going down, a couple of Banelings as well. Oriana going to be focusing on the frontal. Osodi is not stopping. Drilling Claws is done. The Widow Mines have arrived, and that's a lot of mines. The double drop is getting underway as well. This center base is going to be going down. Instead, Mokou is going for a big, massive counterattack with his Lings, with his Banelings. But can he defend back at her? We only have a handful of Banelings remaining. We have 14 Banelings on the way, but they're not done yet. Meanwhile, the mineral line has been evacuated. Oriana was ready for this. Oh, it looks like one of those Vipers does get targeted down. The mines are burrowing here in the main. Oh, God. Ooh. Good Baneling connections. The mines were a little bit delayed there, and Oriana was slow to split. Good connections overall. Mokou defends. At the same time, that's a kill, not a cancel on the third base. Even though we didn't kill a lot of workers, we were able to slow down the economy of Oriana. Oriana now stuck on a 3-base economy. Does have a planetary, does have more orbitals on the way, but they are still in production. Oh boy, and we gotta take a moment to step back here. Okay, so our Zerg player has a pretty good worker count, 85 drones, a low base count. Is not really too slowed down when it comes to the production, because we do have 2 macro hatches in the main base, but overall we're a little bit oversaturated. We're not really making use of our economy right now. As we go for another big counterattack, both armies, they miss each other. Uh-oh. I'm a little bit concerned here for our Zerg player as the Marine Marauder finds the fresh mining base. Mineral line is going to be going down. The hatchery as well. At the same time, in comes Mokou, as we do have, oh my god, a massive wave of links going into the main base, and the natural. Oh, the mines! Mines will not be going off. The production is on fire right now. At the same time, we can't find any more ground. Ultras come out, and Mokou takes game number 1. Mokou, God, it's such a weird word to say for me. I don't know why. The GG, well played. Wow, pretty impressive feat here. Coming into this, I did kind of peg Oriana as being the favored player. And Oriana did have a lot of momentum going their way, but the base trade, the counterattacks were on point, and yeah, some really impressive stuff there. Impressive stuff coming out from our Chinese Zerg player. And can we go all the way? Typically, over the past couple of editions of GPO, Oriana has been the representative for this, for their region, for, not just the region, sorry, the representative for the Terran race, really. Like, we have been lacking some Terrans here. Sometimes we get an Asher, sometimes we get an Azure, sometimes we get a Hon Mono, sometimes we even get a Hung Mono. But Oriana is usually there to wave that Terran flag, and now they are 1 game away from being eliminated. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales. We have the Chinese Terran player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Oriana. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Zerg, also representing Mystery Gaming. It is Mokou. Mokou? Mokou. I'll get there. Just give me a broadcast. We'll clean it up, Bobby. We'll clean it up. Oh god, as we are of course diving into this, and yeah, so far we are going to be getting into that second game. Oriana up against the wall already here. I am, not gonna lie, a little bit concerned, but we'll see. We'll see how this does all end up. In the chat, see, I think Mokou? Well, that you wouldn't have the O then, right? But maybe Mokou? Mokou? Yo, I need some linguistic experts in the chat, mate. Not gonna lie. I hope everyone has been enjoying themselves here, of course, with our bi-weekly edition of Grand Platypus Open. Got some big names as well. You know, we got Miyamaika, we got Gurgur Joey, we got Demi, we got the Zerg, we got the Southeast Asian Zerg players coming out in force. But it's all about the newcomers here. It's all about the up-and-comers, and Takanashi, aka Mokou. Yo, I like Mokou. I'll stick with that. Aka Mokou is, I believe this is Mokou's first time in GPO. They have signed up in the past, but they haven't been able to check in, or at least they have been missing, or they've been getting walkovered as well. So it's great to see them actually here for this edition of the tournament for their first run, and already pretty solid start. As I say that though, the Reaper is already here across the map. One Ling is going to be falling as we do dance with the Queens here in the natural. You see the Reaper being forced back for the time being, back at home. Once again, another 3cc opener, so very economic oriented here from Oriana, as to be expected. Again, it did feel like Oriana had a lot of momentum, was trading quite well overall. And then there was that moment, to be fair, there was that moment with the Banelings connecting in the main base, right? Where we had like the juiciest Baneling connections. Almost every Marine went down in the main of our Zerg player, and yeah, from that moment, Oriana was having a hard time really closing things out. Unfortunately, the Ling run-bys were not just getting some workers here and there, but the bases as well, really crippling the economy. And that final move, when Mokou did get into the main base, when he got on top of the production, that was just the kill move that he needed. But pretty intense overall, and I definitely can see this series going the distance, going to the ace match, but that's all going to be on the shoulders here of Oriana. Can he make that happen? We need to find out. I see in the chat, when Hung Mono versus McSins. Oh. What have we done? What have we fostered in our chat, in our community? What have we done to these poor players? Oh, it's okay. They like it, Poppy. They like it. Ay, ay, ay. As we are getting into this, again, an economic opener here from Oriana. It is going to be 3cc Banshee, as to be expected with this. Oh, I mean, to be fair, last game, if you recall, it wasn't 3cc Banshee, it was 3cc into a Liberator. Instead, just kind of preserving some of that gas and getting to a stronger bio timing later on. But here in this game, we are going to be focusing on our Hellion production. We are going to be getting into some Banshee play as well. We're going to be committing, so multiple Banshees will be made, and thankfully, we have that tech lab on the racks. We are getting into bio play. No mech here. Oh, you love to see it. Meanwhile, I was around a 4-minute 40 timing for that lair. As a pretty standard timing here from our Zerg player. Lair is on the way, halfway through. We should be seeing a Baneling nest as well. And the other big thing, of course, is that hopefully this time Mokou is able to get into their Baneling speed a little bit faster to make that early to mid game a little bit more seamless and a little bit more fluid, as they were kind of struggling initially, and a lot of that was because of the delayed Baneling speed. Here we go, the Baneling nest is thrown down. Once we get full saturation on these 3 bases, once we have additional gases, we should be going towards our double Evo chambers as well. We're actually gonna be getting a lot more. We have 2 gases in the main, we have 2 at the third, and we got 1 more here at the natural, so that's quite a bit. With this influx of gas, sure, we can get into our Evo chamber upgrades, but we could get into some other tech as well. Before that happens, of course, the Banshees have arrived. Ooh. 1 Queen is already going to be going down. A couple of drones as well, as the Banshees do have that one-shot potential. It does look like Mokou was unable to... No, actually, they did confirm that Tech Lab researching, so they did scout the initial opener. They were aware of the cloak Banshees. Oh, no! A little bit of a misclick as well. 1 Banshee's going to be going down at the same time. The Hellions get pounced upon. Some of them will fall to those Lings, but thankfully Oriana is able to slip out of the grasp of those Lings and get out of there. But an unfortunate misclick on these rocks does mean that they were stuck on a move, and they did, or at least one of those Banshees did go down. Ay, ay, ay. And this is definitely going to hurt, because this opener from Oriana was designed to, you know, keep back their opponents and do some economic damage, especially when you invest into Cloak. So far, those Banshees haven't quite paid for themselves. They did get 1 Queen kill, but only 1. The Queens are once again going to be swatting away these Hellions, going to be throwing down all these tumors, respreading that creep, and just gaining control of the map. Behind this, we do have Mokou fully saturated on 4 bases. We've got those Evo chambers as well. And just like the previous game, we're going to be going into an infestation bit. Also, I really like this. double macro hatches in the main base just because we are going very Ling Bane heavy. No Hydras, no Mutas, no nothing. Lings, Banes into Ultras. Now, obviously, this composition from Mokou can be really risky. As I say that, the Hellies, they just dive into the main base. They don't care about no queens. They go all the way in. They get confirmation of all these macro hatches. Can they get economic damage done, though? Looks like they will. Oh, not too much. Only 2 drones. Only 2 workers go down. But the Lings were pulled out of position. Never mind, we have plenty here at the 4th base location as well. The double drop doesn't find any damage. Mokou just keeping up with every twist, with every turn that Oriana has to offer. But I was getting into the big weakness here of going Ling Bane into Hive into Ultra is obviously your anti-air. You're going to be lacking Hydras, you're going to be lacking Mutas. You don't really have too much that can deny drop play, so as a result Oriana can take advantage of that. But before that happens, another massive Ling counterattack. The Banelings are rolling on forward as well. We want the connections. Oh, but they will not detonate with those SCVs, and a lot of Lings are going to be going down here. Oof. We're going to be able to get a tank. Oh, very quick changelings are thrown down as well, so not too bad, but that was a pretty big investment overall. We can see here in the units lost tab, 37 Lings go down for a tank and 3 SCVs, essentially. Not the best trade here for our Zerg player, but we are rebuilding. We are going out once again, going for another massive counterattack. The mine is going to connect with a lot of these Lings. Meanwhile, some of them do get split off to head towards the natural base. The others do head towards that 3rd. At the same time, the bio army doesn't turn around. And I'm getting some deja vu. Every single queen just went down. Only 1 remains. Only 1. At the same time, a double drop here on the right-hand side. Mokou just threw away a little bit too much. Did go for a massive counterattack. Is getting some economic damage, but is sustaining so much more. Lings across the map will eventually be cleaned up. Meanwhile, the double drop here got a lot of queens, but not too many workers. I'm actually a little bit surprised. These drops, it feels like they should have done more. It feels like Mokou just wasn't in position, but somehow, some way, he preserves his drone count, and he's not looking too bad. Oh. Overall, though, his drone count isn't amazing. We're lacking workers and saturation at the 5th base, unfortunately. But Mokou is going for another counterattack. We do have to respect these mines, though. Oh my god! Ooh. A couple of mines will go off on this army, but the Ling Bane is overwhelming. Just barely the Marines. Mokou is breaking on through. He's looking to get into the mineral line. The Banelings! Ooh! 9 SCVs will go down. A little bit of friendly fire from that windline shot as well. And Mokou once again is gaining a lot of ground. The drops across the map just again not really doing what we expected them to, what Oriana expected them to. Sure, he was killing queens, but look at this. Only 11 drones have gone down this game. I'm a little bit shocked. Ugh. And we still have a standing army. We still have plenty of Lings on the way. We have Adrenal Glands, 2 Vipers being produced as well. Pretty interesting. Like, we didn't rush into 3-3 or anything like that. We have the Hive, but we're focusing on tech. You know, we've got the Ultra Cavern already done. We've got Vipers on the way as well. Really interesting kind of way to go about this. Meanwhile, no, the mules! We just mule hammered this base, and mining is going to be denied. Same time, drops across the map, not really finding too much damage either. Oriana is slowly stabilizing, but oh god, they did lose so many workers earlier and was still trying to build up that SCV count, still not fully saturated on 4 bases. Meanwhile, Mokou has been able to drone, has been able to establish their economy quite well, and now can focus on their assault. Oh god! So mine shop gets baited out. Ultras are on the way. Kindness plating. We already have those Vipers that already topped up on that energy. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. As another massive shot goes off. I mean, the army here is still quite threatening here from Oriana. And here we go. We're coming in from behind the full surround. Not really too many Banelings to speak of, but who needs those Banelings? The Terran army will crumble. A lot of them do get saved in those medevacs, but you know what? Mokou, he is not done. Mokou's going for the surround once again, this time with those Banelings. The Ultras looking to chase whatever they can down as well. It feels like a bit of an overextension from our Zerg player as the Ling Bane gets cleaned up, but actually, there's only 2 Marauders left and a Planetary. Ultras will fall. But the reality is, it's going to take longer for Oriana to rebuild their army. Mokou has amazing creep spread, saved their Vipers, and is looking to remax. We're lacking gases. We're still only on 5 gases. We haven't taken the 6th gas, so we can see that Mokou is having a hard time rebuilding at least the Ultras, but we just make Lings back. That's all we need. We just make the Lings. The third base is going to be going down. GG gets called, and Mokou takes game number 2 and the series 2-0. Wow. GG. I want to press the wrong button. Hold on. GG, well played. Congratulations to Mokou for taking the series 2-0. Really impressive showing, to be honest. I was not expecting Oriana to go down in the first round like this. And, I was not expecting Oriana to go down like this, and this is going to be a really interesting series because Mokou moves on in the tournament to face off against the King of the Sea. Oh, let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Let's go, as we have a player patiently waiting in the semifinals. Mia Micah has taken down the Mohawk 2-0 and is going to be facing off against Mokou in a ZvZ.